welcome back to the channel. Bit more progress on Volvo 480 project. It's a bit of a temporary fix, so I'll show you what I've been up to, where we're up to, and just generally let's have a bit of a look over it. So the thing is, this is the rear suspension, and if I take you over to the Volvo, you will see that the rear suspension is on. Well, sort of. So this is because I have to move the car. There's something coming that I need to be able to move the vehicle. So what I've had to do is unfortunately put most of the rear axle supports, suspension components, things like that, back on, so I can put it back down on its wheels and move it. Now there's a lot missing, but there's also quite a few parts that I'm quite pleased with how it's worked, so I'll show you those. First of all, you'll see the inside completely empty. Got all of that out. It means I can clean the base of the car quite nicely, finish off a few little rough edges, things like that. It also means, because at the moment it's covered by my carport and it's going to be sitting a bit further down the driveway, so it's going to be, for the first time in quite some time, it's going to be getting some rain, so going to have to keep an eye and look for leaks in seals, things like that. Really common problem. You can see here the wiring, and that is for the heated windscreen and the wiper on the rear, comes in here, and it's a horrendous fitting. There's no connector or anything, that's just wired straight into a metal piece of the window, which is terrible. Then comes out, it's obviously been connected up at some point here, and then it goes through this grommet into the inside of the car. Now that's a common leaking point. You can see what I've done underneath is I've got access to that, so I can keep an eye, because the last thing I want is it soaking any more the headliner. Then the other parts are when the water runs down the channel, and for Volvo this is really quite bad design, to be honest. It runs down the channel here and it goes into the light cluster, you can see, and it also pools right along here. There's no real way for this to get out other than either flowing over the top or straight down, and you can see what's happened is it has actually eaten away at parts of this, which I've been trying to recover. This is a new boot seal that I bought, not for this car, but it's it does the sort of job. So I'm going to try and do that, because that's also where a lot of the rainwater pools down here. You can see quite a bit of dried rust down here, so this needs cleaning up, that kind of thing. So hopefully we're going to be dry inside, because remember as well, the driver's door I've got in pieces because we don't have an electric window mechanism attached to that at the moment. I ordered a brand new one, which I've got, I just haven't fitted yet, so it means the window is not as secure as it could be. So I think we're getting a little bit of rainwater coming in that way as well. Now underneath the car, you can see got this nice matte black rear axle. You can see this is also painted, so is that fitting there. You can see the this all needs doing. You can see I've just put the control arm on and the various parts for now, just to hold it in place. You can see I've used some temporary bolts. I'm waiting for correct high tensile bolts to arrive for that. I think the springs are going to be okay actually, but I haven't put any brakes on. The copper brake lines are still floating, so this is really just so that I can move the car safely and so it can sit back on its rear axle, and I think it's going to do that quite successfully, so I'm quite pleased. Managed to find a combination of nuts and bolts that will hold it together but I've been ordering lots of nuts and bolts to do replacements because I'd like to replace all of those components because they're all old, rusted, quite old components, you can see. So better to renew those and then they can go in properly, because some of these did not go back in very well, and I don't want that. I want everything to go in nice, shiny and clean. So that's just a temporary thing for now though, just so that I can drop it back down on its wheels. It's been quite some time. Well, that's typical. Jack doesn't go down far enough, does it? Okay, onto the bottle jack. And there she is, sitting back on her own axle. Quite pleased with that. Now she'll be sitting quite low because the gas struts and the suspension components are all pretty shot. Actually, it's not sitting as low as I was expecting. I thought it would be pretty down, but I guess the springs are in pretty good nick, to be honest, so they're probably taking quite a lot of the pressure. But there we go, back on our own four wheels, at least temporarily. Well, that went a lot better than I thought, actually. You can see it's moved its way down the driveway, got a pile of rusty parts and stuff down there, but obviously I've got the rear brake lines capped off in the bonnet, if you remember, at the ABS pump. So still using the brake pedal, I was able to brake using the front discs. They're working great, actually. I was surprised at how well they were stopping the car, and it rolled quite nicely. So I'm really quite encouraged by that, because I thought it was going to be seized and not very happy, because it hasn't moved much. It does look a little bit unusual at the back there. You can see my daughter Breeze thinks it looks a bit like a monster truck at the minute, because it's riding quite high. There's obviously no fuel tank, interior stripped out, so it is pretty lightweight and lean at the moment. It'd be good to know how heavy it was at the moment, actually. But anyway, so going to do a bit of tidying up, but I've achieved what I wanted to. We've managed to move it. Fingers crossed that there's not going to be any water leaks, because that's the worry that I've got right now for it. You can see old brake lines, bits of exhaust shield and just general rust. But yeah, I'm hoping that we're not going to have any problems when it comes to rain getting in. So as soon as it does rain, I'm going to have to come out, take a look, and if I find any, start to work on them. But all in all, I'm quite pleased with how that move's gone. Obviously you can see the rust patches still need work. There's still a lot of work to go, but I'm actually feeling like we're getting some progress now. So there we go. Very, very simple today. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and hopefully there'll be a better update coming very soon that's going to include getting the last bits of the welding done. I can't wait to finish that part of it off, to be absolutely honest with you, and get that completely done. And then it's on to putting things back together, so really good news. So I shall see you in the next video.